Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, please email me. I am still Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com. It is still in the description below. It is still your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. I am Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for pricing details. The original Patek Philippe Perpetual Calendar 5496P launched in 2011, but with everything in grayscale and silver tones, it was, if anything, a little bit austere for a rich and opulent high complication. Well, Terry Stern went back to the drawing board, and in 2016 he gave us this, the 5496P-015 Retrograde Perpetual Calendar, drawing on a calendar display system that's been in the catalog since the 1992 50/50 bout. We now have these lush and lovely rose gold applique and hands to match on a silver satin dial, and it is beautiful. In platinum, you can see it has the top Vesselton diamond between the lugs at 6 o'clock, as modern platinum Pateks do, 39.5 millimeters in diameter, svelte at only 11.4 millimeters thick, from lug tip to lug tip, a very reasonable 47.8 millimeters, with a nice modern 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Now on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, it wears nicely. You can see super flat with a domed bezel and a crystal to match. It'll slide underneath a dress cuff. Over the top always exaggerates the width of the watch. Plus, this is an unbroken end strap, so I'm pulling it tight. I'm well clear on either side, and let's pull my sleeve up here because the definitive angle to show whether a watch fits is down the barrel. And now you can see, looking down the barrel on my 16 centimeter circumference oval wrist, these lugs are nowhere near the edge. So I believe once the strap breaks in, this watch will be fine to wear on a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference. It's a high-grade strap. We have medium rectangular scale alligator leather, high gloss in a dark brown. We've got a monotone stitch, a folded edge, and then we've got calfskin on the bottom, no crimping, no gouging, a brand new Patek Philippe factory strap. Note the use of pull tab spring bars. Pull the tab, pop the strap off the case, no tools required. We have a matching Patek Philippe manufactured single folding clasp. You can see the Calatrava cross, the symbol of the company, on the buckle. Internally, Patek Philippe in the city of origin. It is a platinum clasp to match a platinum watch. Patek still does things the right way. There's a little spring that acts as a snapshot retention mechanism to keep it closed. Looking to the case, you can see Calatrava style. The lugs are blended in, relatively minimal. The case flank is sheer, everything's polished, and we have lugs that are relatively sheer and broad when viewed in profile, but narrow when viewed head-on. We have a crown that includes the Calatrava cross again. There are some pusher adjusters on the case that are used to adjust the calendar system. The bezel has a vertical lip and then a very flat conical profile, almost flat completely. You can see it has a very small slope. There's a little bit of a box to lip to the sapphire, and then it has a camber or a domed profile over the top. So not a generic or cheap sapphire there. The dial still has the original 2011 watch's vertical satin silver grain, so brushed a little bit like stainless steel. What changes, though, is that we have this lovely rose gold dimple style minute marker outboard that can also be used for reading seconds. We've got applique faceted 18-karat rose gold dart style indices. We have frames for the day and the month. We have faceted rose gold Dauphine style hands and a counterweighted lancet style seconds hand to match. The faceting makes for better contrast against a light dial base. And then we have a lunette style moon phase. You'll note that each one of the dates features either a applied three-dimensional rose gold numeral or an applied three-dimensional rose gold cabochon. And then we have a red lacquered gold hand that acts in retrograde fashion. It jumps back on the night the 31st turns to the 1st. And this is a perpetual calendar, so it can deal with irregular length months. It can deal with leap years. It does not need to be touched until the year 2100, and the moon phase, once set, does not need to be touched for over 122 years. Now, I like the fact that we have this mostly aperture-style calendar with a large date display, making it very easy to read. On the reverse, something that's not altogether common on Patek Perpetual calendars, which is a center rotor automatic. So this is the caliber 324. It has ceramic bearings for high efficiency, and unidirectional winding, which is more efficient than bidirectional, energizing a 45-hour power reserve. You could see we are 6 position adjusted here and to temperature. That's one more standard adjustment position than a chronometer, with a free-sprung Gyromax style balance beating at 4 Hertz and an anti-magnetic silicon Spiromax hairspring. We have a system that is both more shock resistant than a standard balance design, easier to adjust precisely, and thanks to the silicon, highly resistant to temperature-induced timing deviations and magnetism. And when you combine the Patek Philippe Seal 6-position adjusted Gyromax and the silicon hairspring, you get a watch that is designed to run no worse than -3 + 2 seconds per 24 hours. All of this pivoting on 30 joules. You can see the decoration is exemplary. We have solarization on the barrel, circular stripes or circular Côte de Genève on the rotor, linear Côte de Genève on the bridges. All screw heads black polished with chamfered slots in circumference. You could see that there's a grooved snailing on the edge of the rotor. There's engine-turned perlage on the center of the rotor, but also on the base plate. On the base plate, you can see it is larger in size. And then we also have perlage on a click wheel for the winding system that allows it to wind only in one direction. The bevels are broad, beautiful, rounded, and mirrored. And the wheels also feature satination. You can also see at the edge of the winding rotor has been beveled. And then all of this with a snap-on case back, water resistant down to 30 meters. Retrograde Perpetual calendar, beautifully decorated, even the little details. Take a look at locating pegs. You can see there's a spring, and then there's the balance cock, and those 3 polished tips are the tips of the pegs used to locate the balance cock on the base plate. So they have been mirror polished on their top. You can see where there are locating pegs. They have been mirror polished on their tops. Really nice work with a little golden chaton fixing the pivot jewel for the escape wheel. Beautifully decorated, beautifully done, and one of Terry Stern's finest and one of my favorite Patek Philippe complications. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.